Hey there, welcome to NZ Money Karma, where you can find freedom from the daily grind through budgeting, simple living and adventure. This video is going to be a little bit small town grocery shop and a little bit of cash stuffing and a few little secondhand bargains that I've found. And one really crazy secondhand bargain, and I have to put my hands up and say this is not something that I would buy from a secondhand shop. It's something my husband bought from a secondhand shop. Eek. And yeah, I will say no more about that until we get to that point. So I'm just going to take you guys through what I've done this morning. So I've been out and I've got a few bits and bobs from the supermarket. Woolworths is where I've been. And this is what I've got. I'm just going to show you the prices because they're a wee bit different than how I would normally shop when I'm shopping at Pack and Save in Ototahi. So I'll show you here. There are a few bargains and a few not so bargains, but still cheaper than going out and buying your sandwiches, buying your bread rolls. A lot of this stuff is actually for my husband. He has joined me again. I had 8 days here by myself at our wee holiday home, and now he's back and he's joined me for the last 3 days, and then he's away for the weekend to go and support the kids while they're away at a regatta, and I will stay here and look after the animals. Okay, so to start with, $2.76 quick sale shaved ham. This will be enough shaved ham for at least, he'll probably have it on his sandwiches today, he'll take sandwiches tomorrow, and I will make something because it will be past its use by date. So I will bake something with that, so he can take that on the third day so that he has something for his sandwiches each day or has something in his lunchbox each day to take away. So that was a good price. That's $4.68 normally and $2.76 for us today. So that's the first thing I got. Then he needed something to have with him. No bun bargains here. If you watch my normal videos on any kind of grocery thing I ever do, I only ever buy buns that are from Pack and Save that are reduced, and I will look for a 12 pack for $2, and here I have a 6 pack for $5. So not at all a great bargain, but that is the price of a bun if you buy it kind of freshly made from the supermarket. So he'll take two of those each day. Then I've got some toilet paper. Toilet paper, $6.30. That was on sale. This is just the toilet paper we like to use, so I just buy this regardless of the price. Here's something I have never ever bought before in my entire life. I have never bought a Ziploc bag. If I have a Ziploc bag, it's because someone has given me something inside a Ziploc bag and I've washed it and kept it. I have never ever bought these. So why have I bought them today? Because I have to do some baking for the kids' sports, and I have to send it along in an ice cream container, but I don't have any ice cream containers, and I don't have any other container that I can just put things in and not need back. So I bought these Ziploc bags to put the biscuits in for the baking that I'm going to make. So I might even include a little bit of that here in the video as well, because it's going to be a big fun day. Yeah, so bought those. Crazy. I feel bad about it. $2.30 for 15. I will use them sparingly. Know that though. These here, $1.80 each, and I bought 4 bags of these. Well, not of these. I bought Twisties, Cheezels, barbecue flavoured Twisties, and burger rings. Not at all healthy, but these are going to sit in the cupboard at our holiday home, so that I guess just when we're here, we have treats. This is not normally things my kids get at home. And to be honest, I'm just trying to sell the whole holiday home thing to them. I'm trying to come up with a whole heap of new little things that are fun and nice that they associate with being here, because I want them to really enjoy it. And this is going to be one of them. But my husband will take one of these bags with him and put them in his lunchbox as well each day. So $1.80 each for those, which is a pretty good price. Next, I got these again for my husband. Whilst I'm doing some baking, I don't know how much baking will actually be needed by the kids versus us, and I want to have a little bit of baking to take away home with me as well, because when we arrive back home, it'll be very late. I will have nothing in the cupboards. Everyone would have eaten something, but they would have had their tea, for example, but I want to just make sure that we have a few things for the next day, so that we have some milk, that we have, I don't know, I'll take some biscuits of this baking that I'm going to do, that kind of thing. So these are for my husband's lunch, and they are 99 cents each, so he can take half a pack of those each day. What else have we got? This is for his dinner tonight. Garlic and herb chicken breast, and that was $9. So we've got some leftover bread rolls from 2 days ago, and we're going to toast them up, and he's going to have chicken burgers, and I'm just going to have egg burgers. So I'm just going to use some of the eggs from our chickens. There we go. Then I've got, this was expensive, vanilla extract, $7.99. You can buy the, the flavoured, smells like vanilla extract stuff, but it's not actual extract, it's just flavour. And I don't know, for me, I just like to use the real deal, so that's what I've got. So that's $8. I will likely take that home with me though as well, because I don't think we have any of this at home. Sweet and condensed milk was $3.20, and I'll be basically making as many chocolate chip biscuits as I can with this tin of condensed milk. So basically they're called Santy biscuits, and they're from the Edmonds cookbook, and I'm just going to Google that recipe, and that's what I'm going to make, and hopefully I will have about 100 of them. If I've got enough chocolate chips to make that many, that's how many I'm hoping to make, and then each group can have a good amount of baking. They get really hungry rowing, that's for sure. Alpine butter, $7.60. It's a good price, I thought. I've got half a thing of butter up in my cupboard, so I'll probably use that first, but I couldn't remember how much butter I needed for the recipe, so I thought I'd best buy some more. And I do have containers of sugar that I brought down with me, so I emptied, I have some ice cream containers, and I filled them with some of our bulk goods like oats, like coconut, sugar, that kind of stuff from our bulk stores at home. So I don't need to buy everything, this is just a little top up. These tomatoes were $4.50. 750 grams there. What else have we got? Chocolate buttons for my chocolate chip biscuit. Because these are so big, I don't know if you can see them through there. Kind of like what an old school, someone said in my previous video that I showed my age because I said that I was taping my video, which is what I consider like when I'm doing this. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to tape a video, but obviously I'm not taping and it's not a video, I'm recording something. So something else that will show my age, if I was going to describe the size of these buttons to you, I would say they're the size of a 5-cent piece. But there are no more 5-cent pieces, so you have to be at least my age, I guess, or older to know what that would have looked like. And then the very last thing, again, junky food for my husband, which he's chosen, $1.25, quick sale, and that's because the bottom was broken. It wasn't broken that much. It wasn't broken as much as this. My husband did that because he wanted to grab a couple of lollies before he went out. So that was half price, broken about this much. So maybe it was missing like a single, I don't think so. I did go along to the actual lollies on the shelf and kind of put it in half and go, oh yeah, does that look like it? And they look very similar, so I don't think we were missing, much at all. So that's how I spent $62.70 and what I did for the morning. And I'll take you just very quickly and show you some of my op shop bargains that I have been collecting since I've been here. Okie doke. I found this book here in a second-hand shop, and it's in really good nick. I thought, gosh, who could I give this to? Like, it would make such a nice present. I used to read this lady's blog years ago. That's why I knew who it was. And it's a really good one for, I guess, when you've got little kids and you want to do something a bit adventurous. But it's a really nice, it's got beautiful pictures. She's a photographer. Nice story about her family deciding to pack up and move and travel around Australia. I think they ended up in Tasmania in the end. But really nice book. And I could think of no one to give it to because I'm just not at that stage. So I thought, oh well, I'm going to buy it anyway and keep it. That was $2. What else did I get? Here we go. $20. That was this table. Now it's not looking very nice because it needs a good sand, which I started to do, and then my sander stopped working. So I'm actually going to take this tabletop back to Christchurch with me and finish it off there. And that means when I come back, I'll just have to do the legs and what have you. So that's good. So that was $20 at the Salvation Army. And I'm actually just covering it at the moment with a little, it's kind of like a muslin wrap. And I bought that at the second-hand shop for $2 because the colours are the right kind of colours for the house, how we've painted it. And I wanted to make a little curtain for the laundry out of it. But just because the table is so grotty at the moment, I just popped that over top. And then that kind of makes it just look a wee bit cuter. And I mustn't forget these. That's right. Those are underpants that my husband has bought from the second-hand shop. And you might join me and think, yeah, that's actually really gross. I was like, what are you doing? He goes, oh, they're only $2. I'm like, yeah, because they're someone else's undies. I can't believe he bought them, and nor can I believe he's going to wear them. He has tricked himself into believing they are brand new because this bit here is in good condition. And I'm just like, yeah, I really don't think they are. But anyway, that's a new low. I personally would not be buying my knickers from the Salvation Army. But, you know, if you want to get different results, you live differently. And there is my husband doing it. Isn't that insane? Please don't write mean comments in the comments below. I think it's rough. I don't even know if I'll put this in because I think there might just be like this outcry of fury of how disgusting we are. But anyway, it's there. Spent a couple of bucks on some second-hand undies from the Sallies. I bought this wool blanket. So that's a big enough blanket for a single bed. And I'll probably just put that at the end of my son's bed. It's really nice. It's got no holes. It's really good condition. Made in New Zealand. Woolen blanket from years and years ago. But really nice. And I'll show you the one I found for my daughter. This one here was $16. And there's the one I found for my daughter. So that would just sit on the end of her bed. Yeah, so I'm pretty pleased with those. That was $20 though. If I could find another one that had either blue or green checks like that, I would buy it and keep the other one for the lounge and put a kind of matching one on the other bed. Okie doke, let's do some cash stuffing, hey? And get on with the show. Okie doke, cash stuffing time. It's been a bit of a morning, hasn't it? I've got $262.50, and it's cool to be back into cash stuffing because we've been on holiday, so we've been using our holiday money. So where did the money for the second-hand shop stuff come? Well, if it's for the house, it actually comes from our renovation budget. When we bought this place, we had some money set aside that is for renovations, like actual renovations. There's some weatherboards that need replacing, there's some broken windows, that kind of thing. We need new spouting. So that all has to be done. So there's money set aside for that. And we had no furniture, and we knew that. And so we had money set aside, you know, in the renovation pot for that. And then we've just considered that renovation pot kind of like our holiday money as well. Going forward, I'll be saving that. So I will, probably spend, I would say for a really comfortable holiday, probably $100 a day. So $700 a week is what we're aiming for. And if we go, okay, we want to be away on holiday for X number of weeks, we're going to have to times that by 700. And that's what we're going to need to save. But like I said in one of my earlier videos when I was talking about how we're setting out our budget for this year, the money, the $1,000 that we live on each week is not including investing or holidays. That money comes from, what's left over after the $1,000 is spent. So $1,000 is really just what we live on, like what it takes to kind of keep us alive and the kids in school and doing their activities, and it's what we consider the basics, the necessities really for us to have a happy life. And then after that is investing in holidays. And if we can do those two things, well, we're living the dream really. So there's $262.50. There should be $265. I saw the change lying around and it was in coinage. So he just took it and, I don't know, bought a book at the secondhand shop or something. So that's why there's only $2.50. So we've sat down, we've done our budget, we've paid all our online bills and put all our money into our sinking funds online. And what's left over is the $262.50. So I'm going to start stuffing that. Put that over to the side. And I've got a list here telling me exactly what I need to be putting aside. Now, I'm actually really quite looking forward to going home now. I've had such a nice long holiday. Like I've had almost 4 weeks off work. Almost 4 weeks off work. I haven't been back to Otautahi in that time. I've been hanging out here half the time with the family and half the time on my own. And I haven't done any crafty things to make my envelopes look nice, so please forgive me. They are going to get grottier as we go through because they're still just on my brown bits of paper that I had scrawled the labels on. But once I'm back home, I have a knitting project that I need to finish, which I really should have brought with me here to finish because I've had heaps of time. And I have some envelopes to make. Also, I could have brought that stuff with me and done it here because I have had heaps of time, but never mind. So food. This will be my first proper food shop back in Christchurch. And it's going to be a tight one. I only have $100 to dedicate to this on this occasion. And that's going to be really, really tight. So I will probably do a video on that. Like if you've only got $100 to use at the supermarket, what are you going to buy? Because you can see what I will choose to buy. We do have some stuff at home. We have lots of things that we can make food with. But we will be lacking some things. Like I can think straight off the top of my head, we're lacking stock, for example. If I wanted to make a lentil dish, I have no stock. So there are some things I will need to get, and I will be using my best frugal skills to make this $100 stretch, because I will have hungry kids this week and I'll have to do a lot of baking and a lot of making. I have Monday off work, so that will be very useful to get me sorted for the week ahead. Petrol. I'm actually not going to put in any money in petrol, and the reason I am not going to do that is because we have our holiday money, which is where we're filling up our car. So we'll leave our holiday home with a full car, and it will take us half a tank to get home. So that will leave us with half a tank. And when we're at home, we don't use the car very often. It is a hybrid, so apparently it won't use petrol when you're just going small, slow distances. So that's my thinking anyway. I'm not putting anything in there. I've told my husband I'm not putting any money in petrol, so just keep that in mind. If you decide that you want to go somewhere, there will be no more money to fill up the car with. Tickets and fun. So I'm going to put $40 in there, and that's because I want to go to something and it requires a Koha donation, and there's 4 of us, so $10 each is my donation. Hopefully that's kind of a respectable amount. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And in the garden, it's all a bit sad. There's nothing left in the garden. I'm going to put $10 in there. Now you'll know that we want to retire early and hopefully at the end of the year reach that kind of goal where that's a possibility. I have a lot of things I'd like to do in the outside of our house and here as well. Our holiday home has a massive backyard. It's just absolutely huge. And it's the kind of place like you could even have a sheep. Like it's that big that you could have some actual stock. And yeah, I'm excited about it. And I also do have this like little niggling fear, and this is where I'm, probably going to put on my tin hat. But there are a lot of very bad things happening in the world at the moment, and they have been happening for a couple of years, and they are not getting any better. And I just think the more food you grow yourself, dig for victory and all that, the more food you have, that is real wealth. Like it's good. Yes, I don't want to owe anybody money, so debt I don't like, so that's cool. I can tick that off. We don't have debt. But I still have to go to the supermarket every week. If I couldn't do that, we'd be in trouble. We have a food cult that we're also part of, so I guess we would survive for a while. We could survive for 3 or 4 months, I think, without going to the supermarket if everyone was happy to, just exist on rice and veggies and no stock, porridge with no milk for breakfast, that kind of thing. But it would be hard. So I just think the more you can grow, the more you can create, the more abundance in your life in all aspects, the better and safer you are. And for me, I think for a long time, my focus has been so much on creating enough money, enough financial security, getting this house that we're in at the moment. That's been such a focus that whilst I've done the other things, we do have a garden, we do have fruit trees, I do grow my own food, I have not put in as much effort to that. Like I haven't put in as much effort to community connections, to my garden, to all sorts of things that I would like to do. But life's a trade-off, and I've traded some of those things off so I could put this huge amount of energy into the other things that I wanted to do. Now that I'm kind of almost there, now that I'm kind of at that stage, it's like actually it's time to shift focus to some of the other things that you think are important and make sure you're taking care of those as well. So I think my health is good, my family is good, financial freedom is on the horizon. So that's been our family motto: health, family, financial freedom. And we have focused very, very heavily on those 3 things. And if they didn't kind of fall within those 3 umbrellas, we haven't spent much time on them at all. Now it's time for us to widen our umbrella because we've got those things sorted. We need like a bigger umbrella so we can start to look at community resilience and community connection and food resilience and how much we can grow ourselves. So rather than being a side hobby, it's going to become a bit more of a focus, which is exciting. Giving. So I'm just going to put in $5 here. So that's got 95 in it. And that's for 2 animals that we sponsor. One is an elephant, Rapsu, through the David and Daphne Sheldrick Wildlife Foundation in Kenya. And another is a rat called Ronan at Apopo in Cambodia, in Siem Reap. Work travel. My husband has got a little bit of a reprieve at the moment and doesn't have to go away for a while. He's missing out on his January date where he would normally go. So I'm not topping this up much, but he'll need a few 50s in there before the time really comes around. So probably from next cash stuff, once we're all home and we're back living our normal lives, that will have to kind of become a bit more of this one will become a bit more of a priority. And pocket money. So this is exciting for my kids. I'm now giving them $20 a week. Let's get it out. But they have taken over some of their own expenses with this money. So I'm still putting money into their sharesies each week, and I still put money into their KiwiSaver each week. But now they have $20 and they can allocate that. They each have a binder like this, and they have to keep track of the money in and out, and it's up to them to decide, okay, when they go away to that sports tournament, do they want to be able to buy a t-shirt? Okay, well I know that's going to be $30, so I have to put money aside each week for that. So in 6 weeks, when that tournament comes around, I can buy the t-shirt, that kind of thing. My daughter has a phone, so she has to pay for her phone bill. They do also have part-time jobs and pick up other little bits and bobs from neighbourhood people, you know, for animal feeding and what have you. So more money comes in than this, but you know, this is our deal for this year. So it should work out at about $100 a month. And I said we will review it as well in a couple of, like in a month or 6 weeks or something, once they're back at school, and just check that it's enough. So if it has to increase to $25 each week, that's okay. I'm happy to do that. I don't want to leave them, you know, super short, but I just want them to be able to practice allocating some money and getting into the habit of meeting their needs and their wants. So there's their $20 each. Okay, next, this is the folder. That one there was completely empty. This one here looks all right. This is the one I was talking about that is still looking very ugly. So this is celebrations, and this is to go for birthdays, Christmas, Easter, whatever. I will look a little bit better at how I'm going to sort this out. But we have both Easter and a birthday in April, and that'll be our first kind of celebration thing. We try and do something on Waitangi Day. Sometimes I have to work, but we go and do something, but it's not something that costs any money, so I don't allocate any particular money to that. What have I got left? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 250, 50, 250. Okay, so I'll just put in $10 to start that off. It's a bit of a slow start, isn't it? Because we're already into January and I haven't done any cash stuffing. Clothes and shoes doesn't need anything at the moment. There's 100, 30, 40, 50, 60. 160. Maybe I'll just put in 5 and then that's 165. Then every envelope is getting a bit of love. Animals. Again, this could be for a vet visit, it could be for a groom, it could be for animal food, whatever. So there's 150, 70, 90, 210, 30, 40, 240, 245. This envelope here is all about health, and that can be doctor, dentist, you know, if we need something from the chemist, like for example, I got my son some pimple cream, that came out of this money. So there's always money in health. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 500. 3, 4, 5, 600. 10, 25. 625. I'm actually going to the dentist this week. And I'm getting a filling, but strangely, not because I have a hole in my tooth, just because I have had a filling in the past, but they've taken too much of the tooth away. So I have quite a big gap between my 2 teeth, and it's causing a problem with my bone in my mouth. This is what they told me based on x-rays. It's not causing me an actual problem, but she's like, you actually need a thicker filling there. Like, we need to build that tooth out so you have less of a gap. So I'm going to have that done, and I think that will cost probably around $400, but I don't know for sure. She did tell me, but I've forgotten. So I'm going to take 20, because that's going to need building up again for sure. As you can see, on $262.50, there's not a lot of room for error here, is there? Like, I cannot steal from one envelope to another in order to make it work. I have to be able to make it work on that tiny amount of money. So this is transport, even though it says bike. So that's things like our car warrant and rego, our bikes if we need to do something. I think one of the kids will need a new tyre before school starts. That's probably about $60. You know, if we needed a bike lock, that kind of thing. That's going to come out of here. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, 30, 45. That's all right, isn't it? And I'm just going to give another 5, so that makes that 50. So slow and steady. Ideally, I would want to be putting $10 into these each time. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. If I did that, that would give me a good base. This one here would need some extra love at different times of the year because, $500 is not going to be enough for 2 kids' birthdays, grandparents' birthdays, Christmas and Easter. I know that. Then we've got wrong one. Blue one is an emergency fund. So that says tech, but it's not tech, it's emergency fund. So what will we do with tech? Well, if the kids need some tech, which they in fact do, then that comes out of their school money that I have put aside. This year I'm putting away $346 every week, and that will cover their school and their sports fees. So if they need something school related, then it's going to come out of the money I saved last year for this year's school fees. The $346 I'm putting aside now is for next year's school fees. So I like to always have everything there at the very beginning of the year. I don't want to play catch up. I don't like making payments. I like to have it there. If it's a payment, I feel like I can't afford it, so I shouldn't do it. And it's important to me that I can give the kids these opportunities that we're doing, and we are stretching ourselves to do that. They've got into just a really cool sport. They really love it. They're super motivated. They're working really hard, and we will continue to make that happen. So here's my little challenge. I'm just keeping a record on here. When I write things down, it just stops me from stealing it. So this is my cash emergency. So we have a few emergency funds. We've got an actual proper emergency fund with about 6 months worth of living expenses in it. And that's for, worst case scenario, life goes very bad. That will kind of look after us. And we did empty that towards the end of last year. And so we've had to save to top that back up again. That was a real priority. So we've done that, so we can tick that off. Online, if I have in my account, for example, like say I pay all the bills and I allocate the money into the various accounts that we have online, and I put the money into the investment account and what have you, then if I've got something left over, and it's never much, it's always like, $4.22 or something like that will be left over online, then I will move that into what I've termed like my emergency fund online. And I'm aiming for $1,000 in there as well. And that's just giving us these extra buffers before we use our actual emergency fund, because that really is for worst case scenario. So here, I'd like to have $1,000 as my goal. And that will be for, if I save whatever amount for health, but maybe I just needed an extra $100 for the dental care or the whatever, then I will take it from this cash buffer rather than stealing it from another envelope, which I can't do because that will leave me short. So it's really important to me that I build this up, but it will be a very slow build up over time. And if I don't have it here, then I have my online one, which I'm also trying to slowly build up and use for the emergencies that might pop up. Like, for example, one of our envelopes online is house maintenance. So say we needed something doing and it was important, like it couldn't wait, but I was a little bit short, then I could pull from that emergency fund, because it's something that I hadn't planned for. And Dave Ramsey recommends $1,000 as the beginning starting point. That's why I'm doing 1,000 here, 1,000 online, and then we've already sorted our proper one. Does that make sense? I like to be prepared, let's put it that way. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 20, 30, 40, 55. So $3.55. And I'm just going to put in $5 here. 360, and I don't have anything to write that down, so I'll go back and do that once I finish this video. And that just leaves me $2.50. And I bought this when I was in like batch streaming mode. I bought this for $5. It was actually at the Salvation Army shop that I go to in Christchurch, and it's such a cool money box. Like if I was ever going to have a caravan, it would basically be this caravan. And we just thought, while we're here at our batch, whenever we have change, we're just going to chuck it in here. It's pretty empty, it's a little bit in there. And then at the end of the year, we'll open it up and have a bit of a count up and see what we managed just to kind of put aside. If I was doing this and I was in Christchurch, I have a change challenge jar and I would put it in there. But just for here, we're using this cute little money box. So I'm gonna make some lunch and sit down and read my book. I will tell you guys about this next time. So that's it for me. I hope you guys have a great week. I will catch you next time. I'll be in Ototahi, Christchurch, New Zealand. My goodness, I can't imagine what my garden looks like. It's probably crazy. But I'm really looking forward to going home, picking some tomatoes, seeing what those pumpkins are up to, and digging up some of my own spuds. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye for now.